Hello there everyone and welcome back to the next Umbara mock update video. In this video I get a lot of work done on the main road that'll lead up to the capital, so overall it's a very exciting episode, and without any further ado, let's get started. Alright, to start off for this episode, one thing I did do was pretty much fill out this whole entire front section here with black plates and some of the terrain. So here's kind of the new section over here. I've got it all plated out and got some slopes. So now this whole front section is pretty much filled out here. Obviously I need to do the terrain and some of the trees and stuff. And the next thing I'm going to do is work on some more plant designs, and then I need to start to work on the road. So hopefully a lot of exciting stuff for this episode. So let's go ahead and get started. I also want to thank you guys for all the feedback that I got last episode, especially in regards to what color I should do the terrain. I got a lot of different feedback on that. Some people suggesting mixed between the trans light pink or the trans pink color and the trans red color. So lots of different suggestions, and I really appreciate you guys and your feedback, so I'll start to implement some of that here in the next couple of episodes. But it really did help because I could go back and forth on which design I want more for in terms of the color. So having your guys' feedback was greatly appreciated. Alright, so one thing that I worked on here was I looked at some more reference pictures on Umbara, and I noticed a lot of these kind of vine tentacle looking pieces. I'll put some screenshots on screen right now. So I tried to figure out how exactly I'm going to make that. So the design that I came up with is similar to some of the trees that I've been doing, just using a couple different pieces here. Some tiles along the side like that, and then on top using the lavender 1x1 pieces, and then I'll be able to put a little bit of bend on these once I actually place them in the ground. So I've got these kind of tentacle things. I don't know exactly what they are called in the show, but they seem to be kind of all over the place on Umbara. Some of them are longer, some of them are shorter, some of them stick out of the ground, some of them are attached to different trees and stuff like that. So just wanted to kind of show you guys what I've been messing around with, and I'll try to see what exactly I can come up with in terms of how to place those on the ground and make them look natural. Alright, so one of the main features of Umbara is obviously the main road, and that was something that I honestly thought wouldn't be very hard to design, but I'm actually having a difficult time doing it. I spent like a building session just messing around with all sorts of different pieces trying to figure out exactly what to use. Most of the designs are torn down except for this design right here, using slopes and lightsaber pieces and putting it in between the slopes, because as you can see from the screenshots, the kind of blue area seems to kind of weave in and out. So that's going to be the hardest thing to kind of figure out how to do. I really wanted to use these lightsaber pieces, but I just haven't been able to figure out a way to make that work. But after this design I came up with a new design, and I think it's the best one I've got so far. Alright, that design is done, and this is what I've come up with now as my most recent design. Not sure if I'll stick with this one or not, but I do have one element that I really do enjoy from it. So I was trying to figure out a way to do the circular part of the road where there seems to be these kind of ovals shaped things that are along part of the road. So this is what I have come up with for the design. It is one of these kind of circular shaped pieces with studs on top, and then I used the kind of triangle tiles like this, and that's what I came up with for this design. And that seemed to be the best option just because I used like the oval tile kind of looking pieces that have like studs on the bottom, if you guys know what I'm talking about. And I would set them on here, but the problem is they don't line up with the studs, and then the main problem is I can't really set up minifigures because they are actually like oval shaped and they're not flat. This is the piece that I was trying to use at first. I was kind of placing it, trying to figure out how exactly to make that piece work, because I thought it resembled the road the best. But the problem with this is I can't really place it down unless I come up with something else that would have to raise this road up. And I'm not going to be able to set minifigures on this because it is uneven. It's actually an oval shaped. So with this, it's flat, but it still has the oval shape, so I'm going to be able to place figures on that. And it seems to have the oval shape, and then the kind of translucent color, and then, oh, nice, and then kind of a flat plain area, and then back to the oval shapes. So that's what I've kind of come up with right here. So this would be the main pattern, and then I would make it kind of weave in and out throughout this main area right here. The biggest thing that I'm not liking about this design is I think the translucent blue is too big. This is why I really liked the lightsaber pieces, because I thought it was just the right size in terms of like how thin it was. These are a little bit too thick and too big. So if I don't know exactly what I want to use next. And I like how this all lines up. I don't have any weird gaps or really anything, which is really nice for large scale mocks like this, where stuff lines up, especially for transportation. So that's going to be my main thing, is trying to figure out Do I keep with this with the translucent blue? But I really want something thinner. But the problem with that, if I do something thinner, is it won't really line up on the studs, which makes it difficult for transportation. So this may be the design I go with. I just need to order a lot more of those circle pieces. Alright guys, and I've been working a lot on the main road, and I've come up with a slightly different design from what I showed you guys in the previous clip, and I've started to place all of the bricks and parts here to extend the road, and I wanted to update you guys on this design that I'm working on before I go ahead and keep working on the road. But here is the design. It's very similar to the one I showed you guys earlier, but a little bit different here, using those circular shaped kind of plates as well as those triangle tiles. I'm sure I'll find the name of them eventually. And then just using some 1x2 tiles in between those circular plates, so I'm filling in the gaps with that, and then the middle as well, so you can kind of see the pattern that I'm going with, where we have the outsides here where it's both surrounded by these trans light blue 1x2s on each side, and that's going to kind of help form the shape of it. Imagine kind of like a river and a river bank. So these are kind of like the bank of the river, and then the dark gray is like the actual river. So we have the two outlines there that'll help me form it. Then we've got the circular shaped plates, and then in the middle there by Jesse, in the middle we have just normal tiles, 2x4, 1x4, 1x2, 1x1 tiles, and that'll be the middle section, and then one outer section again with those circular tiles, and then all of the gaps are filled in with those 1x2 tiles and 1x1 tiles. So here's what we're looking like for the Umbara Road. I'm very happy with this design so far. I'm definitely liking it. You have to let me know what you think here, especially this angle down here. It feels like the Umbara Road. I was getting a little worried that I wasn't going to be able to come up with a design, but I think this one is working pretty well so far. The real test here is I'm going to continue to work on it and update you guys after that. But what I want to try to do is curve this road, because in the show, the road kind of weaves in and out all over the place. So I'm going to try to curve this thing a little bit more by the end of the episode and hopefully add on to it and extend it quite a ways out here before we close out the episode. But there we go. There's the road design that I've been working on, and I'll update you guys once I have some more progress. Alright, here we go guys. I worked a lot more on the main road here. I'm kind of out of those circular tiles. or those triangle tiles. I'm gonna have to find some more from some of the pieces from the last couple mocks and disassemble those so I can put some more of the road together. But this is as far as I'll be able to get in this episode. As you can see, I continued it a lot farther this way, and I just started to hook it back around towards the middle of the mock. In the screenshots from the show, the road is very winding, so I wanted to be able to get that. Now it's going to be a little bit harder to do because I don't have a ton of area up here to really make it wind, because I need to turn those corners, and those take quite a long time, a lot of studs length to turn back around, because again, the rest of the mock will be the city. So this is kind of the shape I'm going with, and then it'll turn and kind of come back this way a little bit. So won't be super wavy, but I think it'll still be pretty cool. I'm liking the design so far. It's now finally starting to feel like Umbara a little bit more, which is really exciting in a mock when you are basing it off something and you kind of start to get some of those final steps in that make it look like the mock. Obviously I'm still a long way out, but some of these details are fun to get to work on to make it feel like those influential episodes that I watched so many times as a kid and still do today. So here's what we got for the road design. That's pretty much going to close it out for this episode. My goal for next episode will be to hopefully almost finish the road, actually, if I'm able to get it all the way over to where I want to get it at. So I want to finish the road for next episode, and then I think working on some of those tree designs that I mentioned in episode 1 that go around the road, I think that'll be a really cool thing to get to kind of complete this, start to get this into a more completed state. Now I am running out of space over here. I was really wanting to do some more trenches and stuff, but I think since I made the road go so far out, I might just have to do more terrain work over there instead of a trench system, and kind of leave that over here for the trenches and focus on the road for this part of the mock. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the design of the road. I think it's looking pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of figures down. Obviously I'm missing some of the key players, so maybe it's finally time I just go ahead and order Rex and some of the other boys, because so far I just have Jesse. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of figures down on here, and then we'll close out the video. And here's what the road looks like so far with a couple of minifigures so you can get a sense of scale of what the road is like. It's fairly big, at least it felt like it when I was building it, just because of how many different pieces are required to make the road and a lot of different patterns. But putting minifigures on there, it's not as large as I was imagining in terms of minifigure placement. So just something to think about as I move forward with the road, and this is one of the reasons I love to be aware of minifigures as I'm building. So instead of just building and then not really talking or having figures out and placing them, I really enjoy doing the intros and outros of these videos and stuff like this, so then I can get a sense of how exactly am I going to set up the minifigures in terms of the scale of the build, and does this affect what I need to do in the future? Do I need to make the road a little larger? Do I need to make other things smaller? It's all just very helpful stuff, just because I like to think about minifigures that much, and it's such a important thing to me to make sure I get the minifigures correct once the final build is complete. So far for this episode, here's what we're looking like for the main road. Still a lot of work left to do, but I'm pretty happy with the progress so far. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode and are excited for the next couple of episodes. Again, stay tuned to the channel. I try to do live streams whenever I have some free time. I still try to look for opportunities to do live streams, so stay tuned to those where we can really have some fun talking about the MOC and a whole bunch of other topics, including Star Wars and other topics, and you can see me build a little bit. That's going to be it for this episode, so let's go ahead and move on to the outro. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you did enjoy. I had a ton of fun working on the road, kind of a fun, unique design. I've done a lot of paths before in my years of Lego building, but I haven't really done anything quite like this, so this was a fun change of pace for this MOC. For the next couple episodes, I'll be working on expanding the road and working on some of the details around the road as well, and then eventually we'll lead up into the capital itself. So a lot of exciting stuff in the future episodes. Sorry for the amount of time in between the first and second episode here. I recently got a full-time job, and that is taking up a lot of time, so I'm trying to work in and try to figure out a schedule where I can still do a lot of my Lego stuff at an efficient pace so then I can still get videos out frequently. So I apologize for the delay in updates, but I'm just going to keep getting them out there whenever I can. And I've also got a new from start to finish episode coming out here hopefully pretty soon. It's a Vietnam era MOC, so that should be pretty exciting, so stay tuned for those. And as always, leave your feedback in the comment section below. Hope you guys have a great day, and may the force be with you always.